folks, and welcome to this demonstration of my Fortis Spaceman Audacieuse. So this is a watch from 1974 and the styling is unmistakably of that era, and that's the main attraction of it for me, to be honest. So Fortis has a bit of a lineage of space watches dating back to 1961 and the Spacematic, which was presented to the Gemini astronauts. But it wasn't until 1994 that they became the official timekeeper of Roscosmos, that their watch actually ended up going into space. So the official Cosmonauts chronograph, as it was called, there were several iterations of it. They were used by the Russian astronauts from up until 2019. So it spent a lot of time on Mir and on the ISS, including on EVAs. So yeah, it's got as much heritage, or not this watch, but the Cosmonauts chronograph has got as much heritage as the moon watch almost. Anyway, this particular one never went into space, and it was designed by André Lemarquand, an architect and designer. This was actually the second watch he designed to bear the Spaceman name. The first one was a sort of oval model. Yeah, the Audacieuse, as that means in French, I guess, Audacieuse differentiates the square model from the oval one. So it's got a chrome-plated case, as you can see. There's a bit of a scratch there, revealing the base metal underneath. It's got a very wide bracelet. Let's just check the overall width of the watch. So that's just a shade under 40 millimeters, isn't it? And so yeah, that bracelet obviously heavily tapered, and it's actually got a plastic back, as you can see there, and the bracelet actually it's held in place by standard sort of 20 millimeter spring bars, thankfully, but it actually goes into sort of recesses in the side of the watch, making it look a bit more like an integrated bracelet, I guess. Nice little bit of design, that. So yeah, this would have been a sort of £200 watch back in the day. So it's not, not as good or as high quality as modern Fortis watches. And in fact, this particular, of the Spacemen series, were branded by various different brands. So this is the Fortis version, but there was Omax and other brands had exactly the same watch, exactly the same Spaceman name, and the only difference was the brand on the dial there. So yeah, they were actually quite popular at the time. I think there's about 150,000 of them sold in total, of both models, which is pretty good. But I guess this is what fashion watches looked like before quartz came along. So it has got an automatic movement, 25 joules, I believe, and there was a day and date version, which had the day above, 3 letters of the day, and then the date below. So this is just the standard date version. White dial, it was the one I went for. There is a black dial version, and there are some other fancy dials, leather dials and things like that. But I think this looks the most like a prop out of 2001: A Space Odyssey of all of them. And that side profile and is supposed to look a bit like an astronaut's helmet or something like that, with the visor there. And but it's not really a tool watch like the modern Fortis watches are, because the lack of hour markers makes it very difficult to tell the time with any degree of accuracy. So probably not something you'd want to use in space. Anyway, it's a bit of fun, and I do like the design, but it is, it's quite cheaply made and rattly. Not up there with modern Fortis watches, but I do like it anyway. Thanks for joining me on this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon. Cheerio.